Hello friends, welcome to Rise Eyes YouTube channel. Myself Dr. Brotati Oja. Today I will decode one editorial article from the Hindu newspaper. Let's begin. The topic is about Shanti Act liability absurdly low plea in Honorable Supreme Court. It's a very important and interesting article, and repeatedly we are seeing this article in the Hindu newspaper as well as in the Indian Express. It's very important this time. It is covering encompassing GS paper 2 governance. However, this article also important. You may get questions from this article in the UPSC mains examinations from the for the economic subject or science and technology, that is covering the GS paper 3 paper. This article is also important for UPSC prelims examinations also. So we have given one previous year questions that will help us to understand how UPSC frames questions in such kind of science topics or governance topics. So if we see in 2018, one question has come. It is in the GS paper 3, that is in the from the science and technology portions, like, with growing energy needs, should India keep on expanding its nuclear energy program? Discuss the facts and fears associated with the nuclear energy. Answer into 50 words, 15 marks. So at the same time, we also have provided one mains probable questions that we expect that you will get such kind of question in the UPSC Civil Service mains examinations 2026. So let's see the question. Balancing nuclear energy expansion with public safety remains one of the biggest governance challenges for India. In the light of the Shanti Act 2025, analyze the key challenges and suggest suitable reforms. To 15 marks, you have to answer in 250 within 250 words. So, before discussing the article, I would like to say that since this article is very in gist format, you need to understand certain parameters. For that, we have provided 5 points like context, Shanti Act and its objectives, key challenges, way forward, and then we'll end with a small conclusion. Let's understand the context. The context is the Supreme Court has currently challenged examining the constitutional validity of the Shanti Act 2025, particularly just examining the financial liability caps and the supply exemptions under the Shanti Act, which is violating the fundamental right to life under Article 21. So, Supreme Court, Honorable Court is now currently examining the constitutional validity of the Shanti Act 2025. That is, the critics are arguing whether it is violating the fundamental right to life under Article 21. So let's understand overview of the Shanti Act. Before moving to the overview of the Shanti Act, we need to know the previous situation. Like like earlier we used to have Atomic Energy Act, that is of 1962, and the CLEANDA, that is Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage Act 2010. So through Shanti Act, these two acts has been repealed. What Atomic Energy Act used to do, it has one of the exclusive, that act has allowed that exclusive nuclear energy sector completely for the public and public sector undertakings, especially Nuclear Power Limited India, that is NPCIL, Nuclear Power Corporation India Limited. Now, what is CLEANDA said? CLEANDA, there was a right to recourse. Right to recourse where the operators can sue the suppliers for providing damaged or defective equipments. So now this has been diluted through Shanti Act, and the gateway has opened for the private entities like domestic as well as the foreign investors. They can own as well as fund. So let's see overview of the Shanti Act, that is sustainable. The name is Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India Act 2025. So if we see the overview, first is the end of state monopoly. Obviously, with the immense of the comments of this act, it has allowed the private and the foreign companies to build, own and operate nuclear power plants in India for the first time. Second, tiered liability structure, which means the liability limits has been fixed for large reactors more above weighted above 3000 megawatts thermal capacity to 3000 to 4000 crore Indian rupees. Now it is supply indemnity. Also, this act has removed that right to recourse that was under the CLEANDA Act 2010. Thereby, they have largely exempted the supplier from the liability for defective equipment or the technology. And the last is fourth, that is the regulatory and the compensation framework, where the act has given the statutory status to the Atomic Energy Regulatory Board and has established a nuclear liability fund to compensate the damages beyond the operator's liability capping. So we have understood the overview of the Shanti Act. Now we need to understand what the objectives of the Shanti Act 2025. First is energy security and rising electricity demand. To overcome this, India's growing energy demands as well as the industrial sector, it is expanding. So that is also pressurizing demand on the power sector. To meet this power sector, India needs to reduce dependence on the imported fossil fuels, likely because of the price instability that we are facing nowadays, crisis due to the West Asia crisis or the disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz. The price stability is not there. Therefore, India needs to move down to the clean energy, that is the nuclear energy. Next is climate commitments and the clean energy transition. Likely what I said, because nuclear energy likely to generate less greenhouse gas emissions. Therefore, it is very important to harness sustainable as well as to meet the India also needs to fulfill the net zero carbon emissions by 2070. Therefore, the nuclear energy is the right choice. Third, need for foreign investment and advanced technology. Obviously, we need foreign investments in this field because of advanced technology as well as the high standard of safety standards, technology expertise. So for that we need fund. So foreign investment is one such source. Global experience and strategic competitiveness, because we know France, Russia, US, China, they have established they have established the nuclear energy capacity also. Therefore, India also at the same time needs to enhance its nuclear energy sector. Let's see the key challenges right now that are emerging from the Shanti Act. First, it is the dilution of the absolute liability standard. What it says, it is talking about that court, its own 40-year-old judgment held that the larger, the more prosperous an enterprise carrying on a hazardous activity is, the greater must be the compensation for the causing an accident which may affect the thousands of lives. Which means absolute, if we see the absolute liability, it is doctrine emerged from the 1986 oleum gas leak after the Bhopal gas strategy incident happened in 1984. So there in the oleum gas leak precedent, that is MC Mehta versus Union of India, where it has been ruled that absolute liability, ruling that an enterprise engaged in an inherently dangerous or hazardous industrial activity, they need to provide a absolute non-delegable duty to the community to ensure that no civilian gets harmed, or if it is harmed, then unconditional compensation of that failure should be there. Next, we have to see the another key challenge is the dilution of the deep pocket principle that has also emerged during 1986 oleum gas leak. What it says that it has mandated that larger and more prosperous an enterprise is, the higher the compensation should be such. This one is the deep pocket. Higher the compensation must be. However, this act has provided a limited capping, that is for 4,000 crore, and it treats all the large scale operators the same. Next, we are seeing that is the subversion of polluter pays. If we see earlier, there was, if a catastrophic accident like Chernobyl or Fukushima incidents, then the cost will likely to exceed than 4,000 crore Indian rupees. However, this systemic challenge has created by this Shanti Act 2025 is that it has that the polluter pays has been reduced, like because entity now need not to pay, not to be held accountable for the full extent of the potential damage. Earlier they need to pay. Now comes the fifth point, that is attracting investment over public safety. What it is talking about? It is talking about the low liability cap have been introduced to attract more foreign investors, as well as therefore the public safety has been undermined because moral hazard has also been challenged here. What is moral hazard over there? Because if there is no punishment in the terms of compensation, then the foreign investors or the domestic suppliers, manufacturers will will not be held accountable or will be held less accountable to the damages that has been caused by the defective equipments or the defective instruments. Now, that is 6 point is the weak regulatory website oversight. Now, let's see, to overcome these key challenges, we need to know the way forward. So the way forward has not been provided over here. It since it is still under the scrutiny of judicial scrutiny of the Honorable Supreme Court. So we have provided a comprehensive way forward. See, first is we need to revise the liability cap. Second, we need to restore the supplier liability so that to ensure that providers have a commercial and legal incentive to maintain the highest possible safety standards. Third, we need to establish an independent nuclear regulatory authority to oversee the licensing, operations, and safety audits of all nuclear plants, including those operated by both the private as well as by the domestics. Fourth is the multi-party insurance and compensation pool that has to be contributed where by the operators, suppliers, government of India, and they should established on the lines of international best practices. And the fifth one is that is the last, that is parliamentary review by the Parliamentary Standing Committee. This act needs to get reviewed by the Parliamentary Standing Committee, including environmentalists, nuclear scientists, as well as the representative from the community who are residing in such area where the nuclear power plant needs to be set up. So another one is the joining international liability conventions. What it says about that India should need to consider ratifying the convention on the supplementary compensation for nuclear damage that would bring into alignment with the highest global standards. So thereby I am ending this article discussion with a small conclusion. Let's see what the conclusion is saying. The recent debate that is surrounding the Shanti Act 2025 has highlighted that while expansion of the nuclear energy may be important for India's energy security and to meet up the net zero emission by 2070 and the climate goals, obviously that what I have said, public safety and environmental protections, constitutional rights, and strong corporate accountability shall be the core principle guiding the India's nuclear governance framework. So I'm now ending this article. इसके बाद आप लोग को प्रीलिम्स बाई मेंस एडिटोरियल एक्सप्लेन की वीडियो आएगा जहां पे डिटेल्स टॉपिक्स आलोचना विद प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस एंड मॉडल एमसीक्यूज एज वेल एज मेंस का क्वेश्चंस भी दिया जाएगा. थैंक यू. ऑल द बेस्ट.